I'm live stream out to YouTube here. There we go. It looks like we should be live. Awesome. Okay, welcome everyone to Tech Thursday. We are live on my TipTuesday channel because I chose the more popular of my two YouTube channels. My name is Dan Ray, and this is an event that I decided to host in Microsoft Teams, going live to my Facebook account, one of several. We have a Microsoft Speakers Club location. We also have a Still Dre location, and then I have a Dre MSFT, I believe is my personal channel. And I'm hovering around, I want to say 150 or 160 subscribers, and figured consistency on Tech Thursday would be important for making sure that we talk about tech. And so we can see here that I have two avatars turned on in my Microsoft Teams environment. And then I have two videos of my window. And the reason for that is because I have both my iPad in this meeting, and I also have my Windows computer in this meeting. So based on my licensing, I've got two different avatars set up. And then I don't have avatars on the third computer because of the licensing that I have selected. So our avatars can give a wave. We can do different types of reactions to our meetings. And we can also see the video that's coming off my iPad over here and my Surface device over here. I'm wearing my old school Microsoft shirt and my MVP, new school MVP jacket. And we're using Microsoft Teams to share this live to YouTube. So if this comes up in my afternoon sessions that are related to webinars, I can talk about how to set this up. The other thing I need for this afternoon is a webinar. So let's take a look at who is logged in with the licensing for webinars. It's not that account. I think it's this account. So let's go ahead and share my screen from here. Go into my calendar and bring up a webinar. So because we're doing a webinar, I can give the webinar a title and call this, let's see, let's call this a YouTube event, live event. And this would be Teams tips and tricks for Tech Thursday. I can add co-organizers, presenters, make this public, and decide what my event page and registration looks like. If I invite, let's see, Eva as a presenter, and then I invite Sam as a co-organizer, and I also have Magdalena logged in, so we can set up those accounts. And then we have a registration site that will come up. Let's see if we can save and send this, or if it's something with accounts that maybe we put in. Okay, looks like we're good with a co-organizer, 2 presenters, and we have the ability to publish this site. I can also come in here and put in presenter bios, giving more information, and then set up the theme for my event. The banner image by default looks like this. We now have the ability to use Microsoft Designer, so I can go to designer.microsoft.com. And if this webinar was on Teams, I could say teams of people collaborating on their phones, and get a photo for this. We could call it maybe Teams Mobile Tips and Tricks or something else. And then I get 3 options to go ahead and choose from. And then I can also tell it where I'm using this. YouTube webinar. And then the generated images, we'll use that, and we'll look at here more of a crop, a vertical crop, a portrait crop. And I can change my size here, square, landscape. And then get these webinar on YouTube's and customize my design. And then from my design page, I can save the image, removing the watermark or leaving the made with designer. I have 7 invites, but designer is now open, so I don't need invites anymore. And that downloaded image now I could use as my banner image. So if we come in here and we select, choose another image, YouTube webinar, there we've got our webinar on YouTube banner. Do any kind of logo we want and theme color we want. And then by publishing the site becomes public for people to register. I can share the events.teams.microsoft.com with folks. And I did a quick search using Bing or Google. These are tricks that work in either. If I search for a particular word like board meeting, look for those together in quotes, and I choose site events.teams.microsoft.com, I'm looking for those keywords or specific words used together in the events under Microsoft for webinars. So somebody asked me if these webinars are public or not, and the registration might be public, but whatever questions you ask of the registrants would determine whether I can just hop on or not. And then, board meetings I can see that occurred in the past don't have a registration, might have information about privacy and meeting agendas, links, other things. So if I searched for just the word meeting, one-on-one Teams meetings, May 22nd, May 2023. Let's search for June meeting. See if we find any June meetings using this trick. Just search for June 2023. Here we have a provider council meeting, virtual question and answer session, financial reporting update, June 2023, free Power BI workshop, transfer pricing for tax advisors, plenty of examples of webinars that are scheduled in Teams and that I can register for. So given, I guess, terms that I could search for, I might be able to find the registration page. However, the event requires registration. So there might be different questions, and I can see how many people are registered if those are made public. This event has ended. So if I go down and look at a book launch here, and that looks like it happened yesterday. This one looks like it's in June. No, this is an old event. June 2023. These might be just the words June 2023 that have been used. But you get the idea. If the events aren't happening yet, I have the registration. I can see how many people are registered on the public pages, but I need to know how to search for these pages specifically under events.teams.microsoft.com. And then other things that I can do with webinars specifically. We hop back into Teams. I have the share link, the theming, and then I have the registration configuration. I can set up capacity, numbers. I can add to the information that I am provided by attendees that register. First name, last name, email, and consent fields are required. If I needed organization information, I can make that required. If I needed any other type of information, maybe I have a webinar that is state specific, so I need state information of my attendees. Maybe I have legal terms that I want to include. I can do that. And it's a web link for legal terms. And then I also have custom questions that I can include. These are something I can share, view the published site in the upper right, and then as people register, I will see the registered and canceled webinar folks here within the registration page. So if I come out to my browser, do a private browser, link to my event, we'll see webinar on YouTube, register, fill out some information. Provide some information, agree to the terms, and register for my event. And then I have the link to share that, and I could share this publicly. If we go back over to my attendee configuration, 100 capacity, I can see one person's registered, view the information, and get more information from the registration. And then I also have reports. And I can pull the reports down. So lots of different ways to handle a webinar's scheduling. Once I get to the point where I want to run the webinar, I have the ability to join the event. So the event itself is scheduled in Microsoft Teams. And I see the YouTube live event, and I can use the join button to go into my webinar. I don't want to use audio because I'm already using audio. And I can see that others that I invited are receiving the message that the meeting is going on. And I just put my meeting to YouTube on hold. Let's bring that back up. Here we can see that I'm in the webinar, but I've paused that to come back to the Teams meeting. And I can see that I have a resume for the webinar, and then I have the settings for the webinar. So I could probably do this through the browser and not end up leaving the meeting. So that would be an option. And once I have the meeting set up as a webinar, I can do things like set up the meeting info, send that to others, or go in and change the meeting options, which I believe are under the settings menu there. And then when the webinar is done, I can end the webinar for everybody. And I get the Q&A as well as other functionality. So that's a little bit about webinars in Microsoft Teams. What else do we have in Microsoft Teams lately? Take a look here and see if my effects and avatars are something I can pop back on. Set those up. And then see how we're doing on battery. We're at about 11% on that device. We're at about 60% on this device. So doing pretty good with battery life within our event. And we've got 3 people on video right now. Because the iPad has 2 cameras, I can probably switch the camera to the back camera. Let's see if I can do that here successfully. Getting the broadcast information because we're broadcasting this meeting. Then I also have the ability to share PowerPoint screen or different applications from my iPad as well. So if we share the screen and audio in the stream here, see my iPad screen. And then I can navigate to the iPad version of Teams or to different applications that I have installed, like Microsoft PowerPoint. And then you're seeing this through Teams right now. I can also, from the Teams application window, present from PowerPoint as well. So the same way that we presented my entire iPad screen, I could share a PowerPoint, share a photo, share a video, or share a whiteboard from my iPad specifically. And then under the 3 dots, I have several options, including reactions, turning off video, turning off or on live captions, if those are available, stopping the recording if it's happening, as well as I can stop transcription services within Teams. So we get all of those options from the iPad. I can see who's in the meeting. And if we did a webinar, I believe as long as I fill it up with enough folks, I should be able to control the bubbles that I see with potentially attendee information. And I know there are ways from a security perspective to control that further. So not allowing just everybody to see who the attendees are. Not sure if there's an easy way to change that for presenters, but assuming the presenters aren't something that you want to have a public webinar, but not have the presenters identified maybe by first and last name, there might be ways to control that as well. And there certainly are with different types of events where I can just say, you can attend the event, but what I'm showing you is, controlled differently. So that's a little bit about the iPad experience. I can stop presenting here. And then we're back to just the video feeds. So I have 4 video feeds going right now. I've got 2, one from my iPad over here with the horse background and my daughter jumping her horse. One from my Surface device over here There we go. And then 2 avatars in my meeting to represent 2 other people and just make it less confusing about who's where and what are they doing in the meeting. So the YouTube Live brings the 4 videos front and center because I'm sharing all 4 videos. And if I chose as a producer in this meeting, so let's share our screen and show this off. Share our screen so you can see my screen options within the video window. I can do things like pin for me or spotlight for everyone from a video perspective. Spotlighting for everyone in video means that my video would be prominent in the recording. And let's see what happens with the prominence when we go to YouTube and see if my video kind of jumps out above and beyond the other 2 videos that we're sharing. So I hop over to my channel on my handy dandy mobile device. Take a look at my videos live. Let's see how we're doing here. There's our live stream, and my video is showing up the same size, it looks like, as everybody else's. But that's also because I'm sharing my screen. So if I stop sharing my screen, let's see what happens there. It makes a decision to go back just to showing the screen, not necessarily everything else that's going on. See if I can hop back in live. See what happens when we stop sharing the screen, but we have one presenter highlighted. And then to stop spotlighting a speaker, I can right-click on the video frame and I can choose stop spotlighting. So those are all options. In the Teams meeting that I can see on the other 3 computers, the video that I have spotlighted shows up larger than the other 3 video feeds. And right now, one of the video feeds is off. So where am I logged in as that user? I think here. No. There we go. There's the other video. So we have all the video feeds now going. One prominent, and then a couple that aren't. Let's take a look here. Let's see if looks like we might still be seeing the iPad in the meeting, which is interesting. Let's see if I'm still sharing the iPad. That's 3 weeks ago. Let's see what's happening in real time here. That's interesting. That's interesting. It looks like it either hung up or still sharing the screen from the iPad. So let's share a different screen. Look at the YouTube stuff, look at Teams meeting window, and then let's remove the Teams meeting window and see if that refreshes my live event. Well, I don't see anything updating there, so I'm going to go ahead and end our stream. Thanks for attending. Have a great day, everyone.